Very good afternoon to you. Welcome to GBC News. This is News Hour, and I'm Thelma Taki. There have been mixed reactions among residents and farmers living along the White Volta in the Upper East region concerning the decision of Sonabel, managers of the Bagre Dam, not to spill excess water in the dam. Farmers who ignored the directive of NADMO not to farm at the banks of the White Volta say they are expecting a bumper harvest, while those who adhered to the instruction are accusing NADMO for their inability to study the situation properly before asking them not to farm along the banks of the river. Our correspondent in the Upper East, Samuel Ayama, has more details on this matter. Good afternoon, Samuel.
Good afternoon, Thelma.
Do we know what informed the decision not to spill the water in the Bagre Dam?
Yeah, for now, what happened was that the managers of the dam said they expected the water to rise to some level, that is 234.75 meters. When it gets to that level, that is the maximum, they will spill the excess water in the dam. But fortunately, on the part of those who farmed along the White Water, the water did not get to that level. It got to 234.48 meters. And as we speak, it has started reducing. It has reduced to some level that the managers have told their counterparts in the region, and for that matter, the national level, NADMO officials, that they are likely not to spill the excess water in the dam this year, because they will need the water for their dry season gardening, and then to also generate, they also have serve as electricity purposes for their area.
Samuel, before we even get to the reactions of the residents, is it raining daily? What's the weather like, and what could have accounted for the reduction in the water levels in the dam, do you think?
Yeah, for now, this year, the rainfall pattern is not like last year, where we had almost 1 month torrential rains here in the region, causing floods all over the region. Normally, the spillage of the dam normally coincides with the torrential rains here in the Upper East region. But this year, for instance, though they did not spill the dam, Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso, we don't also have torrential rains. It's like a month ago that we had a week, continuous rains in a week, where some parts of Sandema, that is the capital of the Bulsa North municipality, got flooded, and then some areas in Timpani, where then Garutu as well, where the Tamne irrigation dam overflowed its banks, submerged several farmers over there. But for the rainfall patterns this year, it's normal. We don't have serious rains this year when you compare it to last year.
Samuel, considering the fact that there were floods that led to some persons being displaced, you think that the news not to spill the dam would be welcome. So why are people agitated?
Yeah, the people, those who are agitating are those who adhere to the directives issued by NADMO not to farm closer to the riverbank. That has been the issue every year. Governments and not through NADMO, they've been sensitizing them to farm, leave some distance before farming. They shouldn't farm closer to the riverbanks, but they have not been able to adhere to that directive. So because of the spillage of the Bagre Dam, the NADMO officials started the sensitization early, went to the various communities, the entry point, Galaka, Sapelega, Timonde, Yarigo, and Anaf Kolega, those communities along the White Volta, and most of them did not farm. The few that went there, they are happy because they are expecting a bumper harvest, and those who adhere to the directive are accusing NADMO for asking them not to go there and farm, because they said NADMO did not study the situation properly. So the reason they asked them not to go, and now they haven't spilled the dam, and again their colleagues are they are getting more farm produce than them. And then those who are also agitating, another aspect has to do with they normally move there to farm tobacco. Not all of them that move there to farm tobacco after, like during the dry season, after the spillage of the Bagri Dam. But they do there to farm tobacco, and their claim is that the Bagri Dam normally make the land along the White Volta very, very fertile. So when they move there to farm the tobacco, they normally get good yields, and then it's like they get more money. Most of the people who normally travel to the southern part of the country to farm or seek for greener pastures don't go because of the tobacco business that they have been doing here.
Sammy, I was just about to come to the fact that so for those who actually adhere to the directive, they feel they are at a disadvantage. And is it too late for them to begin farming their crops now? I wouldn't even pretend to know what the planting season is like, but is it too late, and what can be done to help some of these farmers?
Yes, the Upper East region originally have one crop season. We don't have like that down south that they have two crop seasons, like they plant twice a year. Here, the only people that move in there do twice, like move in the farm are those who are into dry season farming or gardening. So for now, they have plans to move in there to farm. But the issue has to do with the supply fertilizer. As we speak, the supply fertilizer, which is meant for peasant farmers, the commercial farmers in the region, they've taken over. They normally buy more than expected, because every farmer is expected to buy 20 bags of the 25 kg of the PFG fertilizer. But here is the case that we've witnessed on several occasions where commercial farmers do buy more than the number that they are expected to buy, even though it is for peasant farmers. So for now, what they are asking for is that they are prepared to go in for the dry season gardening, but they will need government through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to provide them with improved seeds and then fertilizer, because as we speak, we don't have subsidized fertilizer in the region. The open market fertilizer now goes for 220 Ghana cedis, and some areas, depending on the location, the rural areas, it goes for 230 Ghana cedis, the urban areas 220 Ghana cedis. So they are really ready to go in there, but they will need government support.
And barring that support, do you foresee any kind of shortages in the food supply chain, especially when it comes to the crops that are predominant in that part of the country?
Not really, because as we speak, those who farm, the directive by government or by NADMO not to go and then farm closer to the river banks, when we moved there, it was obvious that they will have the bumper harvest. And as we speak, there are some farmers who also farmed uplands, and their crops at the beginning is still not doing well. But when we went around recently, realized that they will not just run at a loss, they are expected to also get even though it will not be that good, but they're working with whatever that will get to feed the family. And again, when you move to the Tono irrigation scheme, which is almost complete, like they are doing the rehabilitation and it's almost complete, it's going to be automated. Most of the farmers that move in there, because as we speak, they are doing, they are piloting the project, because we realize that all the farmers who move in there to farm, those who are into maize and then millet, rice, the crops are really doing very well. So initially, what we anticipated by that maybe there will be food shortage. I'm not sure that will be the case, because looking at the situation on the ground, most farmers are expected to get good yield here in the Upper East region.
Thank you, Ayama, for those details. We'll get back to you when there is a need. My colleague Samuel Ayama is our correspondent in the Upper East region, where residents have expressed mixed reactions to the decision not to spill the waterways of the Bagri Dam from Burkina Faso. The fear is that some of the farmers who have not planted along the White Volta, they fear that they may not get a bumper harvest this year, and they are calling for support to buy fertilizers and other inputs to make it possible for them to keep their heads above water in the harvest season. You're watching GBC News, and this is the news. We are at the Ghana Football Association, and we are monitoring the activities that are happening there. So the GFA is making a crucial announcement this afternoon, and my colleague Theophilus Sampa is here to bring us the latest details. And the breaking news is that the Black Stars have a new coach. Theophilus, good afternoon.
right man for us. And from the work of the subcommittee, from the work of the council, and our engagement with the Minister of Youth and Sports, we are happy that today Milovan Rajvac is here with us. He has all the experience, he's seen it before, he has been there, and we believe that with the right levels of support from the Football Association and from your good selves, he, together with the rest of the technical team, will be able to deliver exactly what we want. Coach Milovan will be assisted by two abled people, two abled coaches, who have also served Ghana at varied levels. And I'm happy to say that one of the two coaches is our own Coach Maxwell Konedu. I think that if you want to talk about people who have the right level of quality, the temperament, who has been there, and who have the right level of experience to assist Coach Milovan, obviously the committee and the FA would not look beyond Coach Maxwell Konedu. We believe that with Maxwell right by the side of Milovan, our Black Stars will go places. Next to Milovan, again, would be Coach Otto Addo, who is currently a coach of Borussia Dortmund in Germany. And having worked with Hamburg, having worked with Dortmund, having played for Hanover, and having worked previously in 2013 with Ghana, Coach Otto is well placed to again and also assist Milovan to deliver the new agenda. So we will have a new technical team led by Coach Milovan, to be assisted by Coach Maxwell Konedu and Coach Otto Addo. Of course, we already have Coach Richard Kingston, who is here with us. He retains his position as a goalkeepers trainer for the team. Coach Olele, as you affectionately call him, was with us at the Mondial in 2010. He said, and we have absolute belief in what he wants to do. I'm very sure that you'll be more interested, or perhaps you'll be interested in other details of this engagement. And I'll allow our General Secretary to speak to a few issues before Coach Milovan will address everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. So with the permission of the head coach, and just to lay bare some of the facts in terms of terms of the contract, so that we don't have speculations and in line with our transparency, we just want to give you a few of the facts. And I must say that this has been a very hard for bargain. And so, even though normally we do not give the contractual details in terms of people's
We've just seen live visuals from the GFA where an announcement has been made that Coach Milovan Raivat is the new Black Stars coach. So a new technical team has been put in place to manage the agenda of the Black Stars. Is there going to be an end to the drought by the Black Stars to win any trophies for the country? That is what the GFA is hoping by this appointment. We saw the announcement. Coach Maxwell Konedu is going to be an assistant coach, and Coach Otoado of Borussia Dortmund in Germany is also an assistant coach. The GFA is saying Coach Olele Kingston, aka Olele, so Richard Kingston, is being retained as the goalkeepers trainer, and so our team are with them at that press conference, and we'll bring you all the details of the terms of the contract and everything that you need to know subsequently in our programs right here on GBC News. So stay with GBC News and also with GTV Sports Plus for all the details of that announcement, and you will be updated in our subsequent bulletins. News Hour continues. The Ghana Health Service has taken delivery of additional doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines. As part of the rollout plan, the service is continuing the vaccination exercise starting from today, September 24, 2021. This phase of the exercise is open to the general public. Also, persons 18 years or older who have never received a vaccine or have received only one of the AstraZeneca vaccine are to participate in the exercise. All eligible persons are advised to take along a valid photo ID card when visiting any designated center within their respective regions for a vaccination. Persons due for the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine should go with the ID card presented for the first dose as well as their COVID-19 vaccination card. According to a release signed by the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boaje, the respective regional health directorates of the Ghana Health Service will provide further information on the vaccination and the designated sites in their respective regions. To date, over 1 million persons have received at least one dose of AstraZeneca, Sputnik V, or Johnson & Johnson vaccine, with nearly 800,000 of them being fully vaccinated. And my colleague Mavis Ofei Champong has just returned from her rounds as she monitored the events surrounding the vaccination exercise today. Mavis, welcome back. Where have you been, and what was the condition? What's the exercise looking like out there?
Okay, I went to Ayawaso North, Ayawaso East, then the Adabraka Polyclinic. Under the Ayawaso North, we have the Nima Government Hospital and the Municipal Health Directorate. And then the Ayawaso East, we have GBC, we have other places as well, then the Adabraka Polyclinic. The entire process is calm, and then the atmosphere is that of they're anticipating that people will come. It's the first day, so you go to places, they have only 10 people, you go to places, they have only 20 people, you go to place. There was a place that it was only just one person. That is the Municipal Health Directorate at Nima, that is Ayawaso North. It was just only one person, but we were told that since it is the first day, they believe that the subsequent days they would come, because we have from now, which is today 24th to the 29th of September, to finish the exercise. But everything is fine. In the Ayawaso North, that is GBC. At GBC, we had quite a number of people. As at 11 a.m., they had recorded about 10 people, though they didn't come early. But this time around, I was told that they don't have any challenge. But the Mamobi Government Hospital, this side had a challenge of a technical challenge. So now they have to do the data, record the data manually. So I was told that by the close of the day, network, they have been promised that network will be okay, and then they would put back the data onto the system. Because now what is happening is they have to do everything live so that we get the accurate numbers of people who have been vaccinated or people who had to be vaccinated. For this time, it is for first timers and then those who had already taken their AstraZeneca. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a plan to roll out even more vaccinations in the coming days. Do you get the sense from when you visited the community that it was just because it was the first day, so information may not have reached them on time?
A lot of people were saying that as those who had taken their jabs were like, they should do a lot of education, and the medical assistants also informed us, the team, that they are doing something called social mobilization exercise. They are going around the community with the information vans to inform people. And we can use our platform as we are doing today to let people know that the AstraZeneca vaccines are in, and that for first timers, you can just take your ID card, and those who had already taken it, you can take your COVID card there, and then you get your jabs.
Okay. Could you take us once again, very quickly through the list of centers that are currently in operation, so that you know where to go for
currently
your jabs?
In Accra, we'll just take it as and when. Currently in Accra Metro, we have the under Ablikma Sub-Metro, we have Mamprovi Hospital, which is static, meaning the center is not a mobile one. When you go there, it is there. Then we have the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, we have Kolebu Police Station, we have Choko Community Clinic. Then under the Shedu Keteke Sub-Metro, we have Makola Clinic, we have Wesley Methodist, we have Abubloshi, Arena area, Lorry Station, you can get it. We have Okaikwe South Sub-Metro, we have Kaneshi Polyclinic, Holy Trinity Hospital, we have the Faith Mission Hospital, even Coco Clinic, Kaneshi. Okay. You can
so it's widespread. It's widespread. Is this a nationwide exercise, or is it restricted?
This is for Greater Accra, as in Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate is doing this. So we can have the Wager as well. When you go to Wager, that is the Malam Sub-Municipal, you can go to SD Hospital, you can go to Presby Church, you can go to Malam Station, and Wager again, the Sub-Municipal, you can go to Wejagbawe Municipal Hospital, you can go to Tetegu Community Hospital, you can go to Broadcasting Taxi Station, all of these. So we have quite a number of places, and
you do not all need to crowd at one place. So just find out where there is a vaccination center near your area, and then just move to where the nearest point would be to take.
And for those who had taken the first one, you should go back to where you took it. The very first one, they are there. We are told they have enough for AstraZeneca vaccines, enough for everyone, and then you have your job.
Right. Thank you, Mavis. I'm sure we'll look forward to the comprehensive report in our subsequent bulletins. My colleague Mavis Ofei Champong has visited some of the vaccination centers, and she's just reported her findings to us. A slow start on day one of the continuing vaccination exercise at the selected centers within the Greater Accra region. Key call is for persons who have taken their first dose AstraZeneca to go back to the centers where they were vaccinated and get their second doses. For those who are first-timers who have not taken any vaccine at all, remember that Johnson & Johnson is just one jab. It's just a one-jab vaccine. You don't need a second dose. But if you got the AstraZeneca in the first exercise, you need to go for the second jab. So let's not leave our guards down. Let's keep them right up where they should be. Go out there, get vaccinated, call a friend to call a friend, so that we can all keep safe. And that's what Mavis has just reported to us. And moving on to other stories, the Asukwa Municipal Assembly has voted to confirm the president nominee as the chief the Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Akwanuasa Jima. Mr. Akwanuasa Jima polled all the 18 votes cast, representing 100% of the total votes cast. He is the first of the 43 persons nominated by President Akufo-Addo last Sunday for consideration by the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies in the Ashanti region.
Akwanuasa Jima, an entrepreneur by profession, served as the first ever municipal chief executive since the Asukwa municipality was upgraded into an autonomous administrative district from its previous status as a sub-metro under the Kumasi metropolis. In that position, he served for only 2 terms. At the assembly meeting at Asukwa to confirm his nomination were the traditional leaders led by the Asukwa Hini, Nanafe Bamwa, the Asukwa MP, Madam Patricia Piejei, Ashanti Regional Communications Director of the NPP, Akwesi Chei, all the 18 elected and appointed assembly members, staff of the assembly, NPP faithful and a cross-section of the public. The voting process was supervised by a team of officials from the Asukwa Municipal Elections Office, led by the Municipal Elections Officer, Madam Rosemary Ejei Chumasi, who officially declared the results and formally introduced the new MCE to the people. In his victory speech, the new Asukwa Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Akwanuasa Jima, thanked particularly the chiefs and the assembly members for reposing confidence in his leadership capacities to continue serving the people of the municipality. He called for the total support of all to enable him to bring development to the municipality.
Literacy rates have gone up in sub-Saharan Africa and internet access has improved considerably. Nonetheless, a lot must yet happen for this region to catch up. A local governance analyst, Dr. Eric Odrosai, is urging African leaders to invest in improving literacy levels as it is central to good governance, democracy and the quality of political engagement. With education touted as a fundamental human right, he insists that the promotion of education and literacy should be a national priority. Literacy experts and advocates maintain that as democratic values and behaviors are socially learned and not genetic, education must play a part in fostering greater democracy.
We have copied democracy blindly. In Western democracy, the way it operates, the literacy rate is very high. In our part of the world, the literacy rate is not as high as I expected. And you see, we have a lot of educated illiterates who are easily swayed by certain things. So I think that we should invest more in education, improve the literacy rate before we can wholesale implement Western democracy. Because implementing Western democracy without higher level of illiteracy rate, we are going to suffer. And that is why we are suffering. Most people in Guinea may not have the literacy rate that you and I have. So they are easily swayed by the few majority for their selfish interests. And it's happening all over. So let us invest in education. Let us improve the literacy rate. And even as we do that, let us find a way of evolving an African type of democracy that will fit into our present circumstance.
This one.
You're watching News Hour live on GBC News. We'll take a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
We have an obligation to keep
Gracias at that time of the morning.
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast,
On-site restaurant,
or room service?
we've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
GTV breakfast.
For staying on, we do business now. My name is Maurice Ogbete. Now, impose a 5 percentage point spread between the policy rates and the lending rates. The IAA urges the Bank of Ghana as the central bank prepares to announce a new rate on Monday. The IAA emphasizes that capping the spread between the lending rates and the policy rate does not amount to introducing control policy in the financial industry, as some analysts suggest. The economic think tank also wants the Apex Bank to regulate other financial charges to reduce the cost of banking. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana is holding its 102nd meeting, September 22 to September 25. The meeting will end with a decision on the policy rate currently at 13.5% on Monday. The MPC meeting is being held at a time of heightened concerns about the persistence of high lending rates in the country. These concerns were given further focus recently by President Akufo-Addo when he inaugurated the new board of the Bank of Ghana on August 20. Noting the negative effect of high lending rates on the economy, the president called out to the board to address the problem as a matter of urgency. In a statement copied GBC News, the IAA, the Institute of Economic Affairs IAA noted that it has conducted extensive research and advocacy on the problem and made concrete proposals for addressing it. The IEA argues that banks, government and the Bank of Ghana are jointly responsible for the problem of high lending rates in the country. The institute traced the responsibility of banks to their operating inefficiencies, high structural costs, poor system of project appraisal, collusive practices, and customer capture. They accused the government of high borrowing from banks to finance budget deficits, macroeconomic instability associated with high budget deficits, and high and multiple taxes imposed on banks. The IEA draws attention not only to the high level of lending rates, but also to the wide spread between lending rates and the policy rate, treasury bill rate, savings rates, and inflation. The IEA argues that given past experiences, it cannot count on banks, government, and the Bank of Ghana to voluntarily honor their respective roles to bring lending rates down in the foreseeable future. As such, the institute suggests that the best way to achieve effective and prompt result is to regulate the lending rate policy rate spread. This approach, according to the economic think tank, will force banks to follow the policy rate more closely and keep the lending rate within bounds. To this effect, the IEA proposes the imposition of a 5 percentage point. To this effect, the IEA proposes the imposition of a 5 percentage point spread by the Bank of Ghana. The Ghana Association of Bankers has, however, rejected the spread capping proposal, arguing that it will be counterproductive. The association points out that high lending rates are not the responsibility of banks and that the problem is blameable on the economic conditions. And Bismarck Osei is an economist. He joins me via phone with his expectations as the Bank of Ghana prepares to announce the policy rates on Monday. Good afternoon to you, Doc. And so we see inflation moving up from 7.5% in May to 7.8% in June, 9% in July to 9.7% in August. Is this going to inform the Bank of Ghana's decision to increase the policy rates on Monday from where you speak to us from? Hello, Bismarck.
Yeah. Hello.
Right. So I'm saying that given that we've seen inflation inching up from May till now, is the Bank of Ghana likely to increase the policy rate?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. And I strongly feel that if you look at the composite index of the central bank, it shows that economic activities are now picking up. And for us to experience that level of dynamic effect on economic activities, we expect the central bank to maintain the policy rate to propel economic growth.
Right.
Because if you look at principles in economics shows that for the country to propel economic growth, there's a need to make sure that a reasonable level of policy rate is being kept so that it can propel that. And therefore, this is maintaining the policy rate is actually in concordant with principles in economics.
Right. So you are talking about economic growth. The Bank of Ghana is an inflation targeting one. We're seeing the risk to inflation rising. We see prices of fuel going up. There's issues with shortages of food as well. And so the risk to inflation is going up. And do you expect that even around this time, we should be maintaining the policy rate?
Oh, okay, of course. But inflation rates have gone up marginally. And I've gone up marginally. But in my opinion, I don't think it will propel an increase in the policy rate, because don't forget that when the policy rate is also down, it propels economic growth. And in a time now, a lot of institutions are trying to come out of these woes of the COVID-19. We expect the policy rate to be very low to propel that level of economic growth.
All right. So the Institute of Economic Affairs is proposing a 5 percentage point cap between the policy rate and lending rates. Is this not an artificial way of dealing with the issue of high lending rates in the country?
Of course, I think yes, of course, there should be a kind way of trying to help attenuate this level of lending rate, because we've seen the policy rate going down. We have not seen so much pass-through effect towards this lending rate. And therefore, if the interest rate spread, what we mean by the difference between the policy rate and lending rate, if we are able to cap it to maybe probably 5%, I think it will help us maintain a reasonable level of lending rate to produce that pass-through effect
on economic activity. The essence of reducing policy rate is to ensure that they have a pass-through effect towards reducing lending rate, and they help potentiate the level of economic activity. So if the interest rate margin between the policy rate and the rate can be capped, I think it will be for us.
Wouldn't that amount to a control regime?
No, I think they are not referring to regulating interest rate. They are talking about the margin.
Right.
The margin, the difference between policy rate and lending rate. The margin, maybe you can cap it to 5%. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to control lending rate. No, that would be a sort of a regulatory system which is not efficient for the financial market.
Right. So finally, before I let you go, who is responsible for reducing the lending rate? Is it the government, the Bank of Ghana, or the banks?
The lending rate, the Bank of Ghana has a role. The Bank of Ghana has a role is to just control the policy rate. When it comes to lending rate, a lot of factorial factors come into play when banks are determining the lending rate. One factor is policy rate. Another factor is the credit default of these, some of the credit defaults, and the cost of operation. So these banks determine, it's a lot of factors. I will not say the banks alone. I will not say Bank of Ghana alone. It's a lot of factors. For instance, loan defaults, for instance, actually play a very precipitating role when it comes to determining lending rate. And for banks, if banks can take advantage on this central bank reporting system to help them reduce the level of this credit default and maintain a reasonable lending rate. So maintaining, deciding the lending rate is caused by a lot of factors. Policy rate, cost of production, cost of operation. It also caused by also the level of credit default. A lot of factors come into play.
Right.
And the market, how the market working is.
Right. Thank you very much. Dr. Bismarck Osei is an economist there, joining us with his thoughts as the Bank of Ghana prepares to announce the policy rate on Monday. We stay with the Central Bank and the Bank of Ghana in its Forex forward rates auction on 22nd September met its targets of auctioning $50 million to bidders for the United States dollar.
Demand for dollar by banks, businesses and particularly importers and exporters has seen a huge increment over the past weeks. The rise in demand for the greenback is evidenced by the recent subscription of the Bank of Ghana's dollar auction. In accepting the $50 million bids made, the BOG rejected bids to the tune of $83.75 million from buyers. Bids by buyers were made for the 7-day, 15-day, 30-day, 45-day and 60-day tenors. Total bids submitted for the 7-day tenor amounted to $76.5 million, of which the BOG accepted $25.5 million. For the 15-day, 30-day, 45-day and 60-day tenors, bids made total $42 million, $12.25 million, $1.5 million and $1.5 million respectively. The BOG, however, accepted bids for the 15-day, 30-day, 45-day and 60-day tenors, which totaled $19.75 million, $3.25 million, $1 million and $500,000 respectively. No bids were made for the 75-day tenor. The BOG's Forex forward auction program is to help govern the conduct of Forex auctions on the interbank foreign exchange market, deepen the Forex market and reduce uncertainty on the future availability of dollars to meet the Forex need of banks, importers, exporters and other businesses.
And away from the Bank of Ghana, less than 30% of cocoa produced in the country is processed for local consumption or export. This has hindered Ghana from raking in revenue from the $140 billion world chocolate market. To ensure that value addition to cocoa becomes the order of the day, the Ghana Export Promotional Authority has launched the second Africa Cocoa Chocolate Expo in Accra.
Of cocoa beans after its neighbor Cote d'Ivoire and captures about 20% of the estimated $9 billion global cocoa beans market. Cocoa accounts for about 10% of the country's GDP, generating about 25% of export revenues.
Like many of the continent's commodity-producing countries, less than 30% of Ghana's cocoa beans are locally processed, allowing Ghana to capture only 5% of the estimated $28 billion of the global intermediate products market and only an insignificant share of the global final consumer market of $87 billion. The launch of the Africa Cocoa Chocolate Expo is to help the country in its agenda of diversifying from the sale of raw cocoa beans to value-added cocoa on the global market. A Deputy Minister for Agriculture, Mr. Yafrimpong Ado, lauded the private sector for their contribution in raising the cocoa value addition bar from 25%.
Our competitive advantage in the production of cocoa means that we possess the ability and capacity to exploit to the fullest all the opportunities offered by the commodity commercially. It is for this single reason that the African Cocoa and Chocolate Expo is an initiative well deserving of commendation. Through this expo, the immense potential of cocoa industry will best be appreciated, not only by producers but also by actors along the value chain and especially potential investors.
The Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Dr. Ifwa Sabiasari, said aside the authority's aim to draw more of the youth into the cocoa industry's value chain, the expo is purposed to encourage the local consumption of cocoa products.
GEPA has recently started discussions with Cocoa Board on ways to increase domestic consumption and patronage of cocoa products, including chocolates. We hope to jointly roll out programs in the coming months. In the same vein, GEPA has supported GIPC in diverse ways to attract investments into cocoa processing sector. We are also in discussions with the International Trade Center, our key international partner, to implement a new program in the cocoa sector to boost exports.
The Chief Executive of the Ghana Investment Promotion Council, Mr. Yofi Grant, called on the private sector to capitalize on the premium brand placed on Ghana's cocoa on the international market. The expo is on the theme, Africa Beyond Beans, raising a new generation of cocoapreneurs for wealth creation. The expo ends on the 26th of September 2021.
We go to the interbank Forex market and get updates on how the cedis perform. We also update you on latest price of major commodities on the international market. After this break, stay with us.